Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. I'm Bergsevy Politics, and in this video I'm going to be going over essentially the aftermath of Putin and Russia's annexation of much of southern Ukraine. Approximately 15% of Ukraine was annexed by Putin with a stroke of a pen, essentially. However, the West isn't agreeing to it at all, as it was expected, and even countries who are normally Russian allies, such as China or Serbia, have said that they absolutely disagree with Putin and Russia's position. So, of course, we have Putin proclaiming the annexation, but that was immediately followed by some steps from the West. We had Ukraine applying for NATO membership, which is beyond unlikely to happen. It's got the same chance as Russia turning around tomorrow and being like, you know what, Ukraine, you can have back southern Ukraine and Crimea as well. That's not going to happen, simply because not only does Putin have allies in NATO countries such as Hungary, but even those NATO countries who are sympathetic to Ukraine are not looking to go to war with Russia anytime soon. We do, however, have increasing costs for Russia, even more sanctions, as well as threats of some slight military action against Russia if Russia were to use any nuclear weapon, which is what I'm going to get to. We also, of course, rebounding off of this, we had Ukraine claim that the risk of Russia using nuclear weapons is now very high, and they've previously been warning somewhat about this, particularly in the opening weeks of the invasion, as well as later on, because Russia, of course, hasn't been at war with the country on the scale that it is with Ukraine since World War II. And, of course, they said now that it's reached very high. So what could this mean? Well, first, we have essentially the largest USSR bomb ever designed. Russia probably has essentially nuclear bomb is bigger than this, and if you look, of course it has a lot of casualties, roughly 2 million, and that's why, quite simply, Putin will never go for this, because he wants to have Kyiv. It's no secret that he wants all of Ukraine, or at least all of Ukraine that the Russian Empire had, even calling the breakup of the Soviet Union a calamity that should be restored. In other words, Russia now, he believes, should absorb not only southern Ukraine, but also the rest of Ukraine, Belarus, the Baltic states, the Caucasus, all these former areas of the Soviet Union. But right now, he's focused on Ukraine. And it's no good absorbing Ukraine that doesn't have Kyiv, which, of course, is historically significant to Russia. So then we look at the next option. The next option is probably a very small-ish nuclear bomb. And this would probably be something along the lines of the Hiroshima bomb. It would probably be in a city such as Zaporizhzhia or Odessa, a city that's a major supply center for Ukraine and has some essentially water access. And as you can see here, it has a lot of fatalities and injuries. However, it's not on the scale of a Tsar Bomba or anything else that would cause a massive international backlash, potentially with military weapons. Even this strike would arouse essentially a ton of hatred towards Russia from the West and even allies such as China, who is of course interested in stability. Lastly, we have essentially a very small essentially nuclear weapon, and it would be a tactical nuclear weapon. So I'm going to use the B-61 Mod 3, which is the lowest yield currently in the United States arsenal. And essentially, it would probably be dropped not actually in Mykolaiv, but further towards the west, a city that hasn't been talked about, at least in my opinion, enough, which is Odessa. Odessa has a lot of ports, and it also has strategic access, not only being much further west than much of the rest of Ukraine, but also it's a strategic port area. And if Russia were to ever plan on taking the rest of Ukraine's coastline, after they presumably finish clearing out Ukrainian forces in Kherson, then they would of course be able to move towards Transnistria. And so this strike on Moldova would probably be in the port area of the city, and it wouldn't have that many fatalities or injuries, and would potentially even be seen as acceptable in Russia itself. However, quite simply, any nuclear attack would still get the West angry. It's just a matter of how much. Is it going to be a massive nuclear attack that has even China threatening action against Russia? Would it be a smaller attack that could potentially be played off as an attack on a military target with civilians in the way? Or will it be a military attack without civilians there? Sorry for the map, it's having issues. There we go. It could be any of these three, and realistically, I don't think anyone knows except for the man himself, Vladimir Putin. I don't think anyone could possibly know whether he plans to use nuclear weapons or how much he plans to, of course, force he plans to use against Ukraine if he's bluffing with these threats. So there you go. I guess all we have to do is wait and see, and you can do that, of course, not only by staying attentive yourself, but also continuing to look for different news outlets, such as, of course, this channel. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe and share these videos, and I will see you next time.